Good evening, everyone. Hope you are doing well. And we are back for another magical coffee hour. GK, good to see you. Glad you could make it. We'll give some people time to join in as we get ready for this. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Some of you may have noticed that a supporter only live stream earlier this week, I think it was Friday, went public. To my supporters, I apologize for it going public, but that was a mistake on my side. I set it up wrong and all that. Um, I have figured out how to correct that. It won't happen again. But for those who did get to join us, it was fun to have you all the same. And you got a nice little peek at some of what the supporter only content is like over at the locals community. So, hey, if you caught it or if you're interested in more of that supporter only content, consider joining us over there. Also, during live streams, if you give a super chat, whether it's just a donation or if it shows up if you have a question with it, because sometimes it gets busy in here and I miss questions, but the super chat makes it flash. If it's $5 or more, you're included in a weekly spell working for prosperity, well-being, health, those good things. Jade, good to see you. Gree, how are you doing? Good to see you. My night is going pretty good. It really is. I've had a really good weekend. Ready to tackle the week. I got a busy week coming up. During the review for the evocation course to see exactly how it was coming and everything, I realized there's probably, I think it's 5 or 6 videos I have to shoot before we're good to go. So I'm going to try and shoot those videos this week. So it's going to be a busy week for me. But hey, it's a good thing. It is a good thing. And yes, Jade, thank you very much for dropping the community link there for those who want to join the community, whether they do it as members or supporters. There is content for members over there, but there is a lot of supporter only content over there as well. Karma, good to see you. Anthony, welcome. So, man. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying your weekend as well and had some fun. I know around here it's definitely, well, it didn't start cooling off. It went from summer to just dropped. But I enjoy the cooler weather, so that's going to be a nice one for me. Jason, long time no chat. Hey, Jason, welcome. Been doing pretty good all in all. I can't complain too much. If it did, wouldn't do no good anyhow, would it? Oh man. So let's see. It seems like we have something that we're supposed to talk about. What are we supposed to talk? Huh. Oh, for those who are wondering, so I have been asked whether or not I could do the supporter only workshops and make them one-time purchase to the public. I cannot do them one-time purchase live to the public. I have looked into that. That don't work. The best we could do is to do the replay is purchasable to the public while the replay is up, because the replays would be up for like a week or two. We could do those. And honestly, I'm going to have to talk to the supporters to see if they'd be okay with that. Because, well, that's one of the perks they get, one of the many. So, you got to deal with that little balance there. We're trying to do it. Now, of course, don't forget we do have the online school with courses and everything over there, like the evocation course getting ready to come out, Dragon Magic 101, 102. And more. Those are definitely purchasable, but those are lifetime purchases. So if you get those, you get them. And we do. I was asked if the supporter workshops are going to replace the school workshops. At this time, we don't know. And part of that is, I don't know if y'all have noticed, things are crazy in the world right now. YouTube and everybody is changing things and shuffling it around, and we're having to do different things. So we don't know if we're going to be able to keep doing the same things that we were doing before. So we're looking into that. It's the best thing I can say right now. Let's see. Violet Star, welcome. Sorry I missed the last week. I'll try this Wednesday. Hey, no problem. No problem. It happens. It happens. It really does. Um, let's see. What was this week? This week was I forgot what we talked about Wednesday. We talked about something. It was fun. It's been a crazy busy couple weeks for me to the point where it's like just blurred into like nonsense in the background almost, if that makes sense. Karma Drake, I want to become a channel member. Do you recommend here on YouTube or on the other website? Karma, I would honestly recommend going over to Locals and doing it there. For a few reasons. First off, the way YouTube has been handling things right now, we don't really like the channel to get things to the channel members. They don't have a good interface yet. Everything goes through the community tab. And I keep being told it doesn't always send notifications. Whereas over at the Locals community, you do get the notifications. There's an entire feed that you can check regularly. It's just superior in my ability to connect with you all. And over at Locals, it's just the flat $10, which is tier 2 at the YouTube. And we're kind of rolling all the tiers into one supporter fee now. And honestly, you may or may not care about this last one. All those were your perks for sure, but at least if you're actually interested in supporting the channel, I get a better cut of Locals than YouTube, if that matters to you. I don't expect it to matter. You don't have to make it matter. It's just a thought. But I would highly recommend the Locals community. We are actually working to achieve a goal of 50 supporters over on Locals specifically. And if we hit that goal, I do plan to do a very it'll be public. We'll do something special for the supporters too, but we're actually going to do a public extended live stream. I know you guys have been asking me to do like an 8, 12, or 24-hour live stream. I would like to get the admins helping on this in some way, fashion, or form, especially if we're doing 24 hours, because I'm going to need a break. I can't talk that much, I don't think. Actually, I might be able to, but I don't think. But if we can hit that 50 supporter goal, I will be doing the big, massive live stream in some fashion. Even if I have to walk away for 30 minutes to get a drink or something and come back just like an intermission, that stream will start and go for however long we can keep it going. So we'll do something. We'll have some fun. I would love to see us do it before the end of the year. I really would. That'd be amazing if we could do that. But that's my 2 cents on that, Karma. Social media isn't what it used to be anymore. Sadly, it's not. It's not. It's getting trickier and trickier. GK, as a supporter, I'm okay with the purchase of replay for others. Hey, that's good of you. Thanks for the input, GK. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I'd like to get involved more with you all. Hey, Jason, check out the Locals community. Go to workingdragonmystic.com. You'll find the local community there. You can join up there as a member, see a lot of the stuff that we got going on. I will be posting class releases. I post right now. Locals is the place that like Patreon and YouTube have deleted my posts before. I think like the live stream on Wednesday or Friday, I had to post it 6 times on Patreon. I was getting pissed. That would be the easiest way to stay in touch. You'll also find a tab that takes you to the Working Dragon Mystic Gilded, which is it's kind of like a chat room app kind of thing, kind of like Discord or something. That's also a great way to get involved and talk with the community more there too. And of course, if you're a supporter, you get early access to any of the online school content. So, for example, we're working on finishing up the evocation course. I want it done before, let's say, Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. Will it be done? I don't know. That might be stupid, but I'm shooting for end of the year anyways. Supporters are going to have their hands on that course and have access to it probably a week before everyone else. So they'll be able to jump in early and stuff like that. Of course, they also get live workshops. I'm going to start doing live workshops probably. I'm shooting for every other week. We've already got a few planned. We just had one on arcane senses. We got one on wards coming up, not this Friday, but the following Friday. And then we're going to start a workshop on the runes. That workshop is actually probably going to take, I think, 2 to 6 different workshops to fully complete. And supporters get absolute free access to all this, which is a hell of a deal, really. And the workshops usually are around an hour. I think even when no one no one turns up, I usually try to cover some of the information because part of the live workshop is the dialogue back and forth. But if no one can make it, because people have jobs, I understand that people got jobs, you got to do what you do. That's why we have the replay. But I think I usually end up rambling 30 to 45 minutes anyway, even if it's just me. So you're still going to get content one way or the other. So we got a lot of videos and stuff that's posted over there also. So those are great ways to do it. Jade actually has a wonderful series she's been running as supporter only. Let's see. Hello. Time just changed for me today. I almost got stroke seeing that the live started. I'm 1 hour behind. That's right. Time resets sometime. Is that tonight for us or is that next week? Oh, daylight saving time. It's a pain. Thankfully, I had my phone in hand. There you go. At least there's a perk to having those phones. Eastern Europe. Yep. Let's see. Yep, Jade's in here. Jade's always good at dropping those links for us. Sorry, missing videos. Let's see. Brandon Smith. Sorry, missing videos. What? I don't understand. What do you mean? Sorry? Missing videos? I don't know. I don't understand, Brandon. I'm sorry. I could just need more coffee. You know what? Speaking of coffee, let's have more. Oh yeah, there's always catch-up time. There is always catch-up time. I know people who will, I think one person told me that which playlist is it? It might be the Magickal Coffee Hour playlist that they just put it on play, and they just constantly cycle back through them. I think it's during their workouts or something is when they're listening to them or driving. I didn't ever think I would be a motivational soundtrack, but hey, it works, Let's see. Oh yes, that is true, Jade. That is true. Jade also has been posting blooper reels during her videos for supporters to see. Some of those are actually quite entertaining. I originally thought she was just going to be sharing those with the admin team, but then she's like, you know what I'm going to do? And I was like, do it. I haven't had a good blooper reel in a while. I almost wish I hadn't deleted all my old ones, but because I remember one back when I first started YouTube and I was super, super nervous about the camera. There's one where I had everything set up, the camera's on, I'm backing away from it to sit down, and I flip and missed the chair. I just, I really wish I still had that. Oh, man. But yeah, those blooper reels are amazing. Hecate. Honestly, some of the best ways that I have reached out with her to her and everything is I would usually find I'm trying to figure out the best way to articulate this real quick. The rituals and if you've not made that connection yet, because once you've made that connection, you just reach out to her the same way you would any entity. So the two better ways that I have found for individuals to reliably get a solid connection with her is to start doing meditations with her and speaking to her, or maybe even saying a small kind of prayer in the evenings, because she does have that very night side to her, which is fine. Um, and try to do rituals to reach out to her at night, and start building that connection. As to the specific ritual itself, that's going to differ from person to person and tradition. Um, I'll be honest with you. The ritual that I used when I first reached out to her was I opened it with the Dragon's Flame ritual and moved into a hailing ritual and called out to her in that way originally. And then I literally just spent the night kind of meditating in that presence entirely, not really expecting answers or listening, but just spent the night meditating. Of course, you can do full blown rituals where you call her in and everything and do the same thing, which is doable if you're able to, if your skill set's already there. But I mean, she's not overly a difficult entity. She's usually very receptive. With most entities, though, in all honesty, with most entities, we tend to make it more complicated than it is, because we ourselves believe there's some kind of grandiose crevasse or chasm between us and them, and they don't want nothing to do with us, and we find it hard to believe that they'd give us the time of day. And that's actually the biggest barrier, as opposed to them. It's the barrier is usually on our side, not theirs. Oh, I'm still laughing at the radish blooper, GK. I am. But yeah, I actually enjoy working with Hecate. It has been a while since I've worked with her. I'm not going to lie about that. But anytime I do work with her, or get a chance to work with her, or reach out to her with a client or for a client, it's always like coming home to an old friend and catching up. I adore her. I really do. Let's see. So, agree. Would the 8 to 12 hour stream be supporter only or no? That's something I'm going to have to talk about with the admin, because I'm going to get the admin to take part in it. Honestly, if we can get to the 50 supporters, at bare minimum, the supporters will get something. Okay. The 8 to 12 hour stream might actually be public, but the supporters are going to get something of their own, especially because, let's be honest, we're trying to get to 50 supporters over at Locals. The people who do the legwork to get us there, well, they kind of deserve something. But at the same time, the reason we have that very specific goal is for the channel as a whole. Okay. It is as a whole, because to be quite candid with y'all behind the screens here a little bit, if you look at some of the international laws that are changing, Canada example, it's causing social media companies to change a lot of things in their monetizations and their algorithms and stuff like that. And it's kind of tightening some bolts on creators. And I want to be able to have the ability to have candid, honest conversations with my community. That's what I want. And at the same time, I have to keep the lights on. And due to the economy, there's been rising costs in like the school, the website, the stuff it takes to be Working Dragon Mystic and do what I do. The cost has gone up, and I'm doing everything I can not to raise prices. You all will go over to the school, you'll see the courses have not increased in cost. There has been a discussion of attempting, like, if we increase it no more than $10, just to keep them, because my goal has always been, this content is affordable. This content makes sense. This content is available to the common man. This content is available to everyday working class Joe. It's it's available to someone like me who used to be macaroni and cheese was a fancy dinner broke, because I truly believe magic can help you master yourself, master your life, and improve your life. That's what I did. And if I truly believe that, then I shouldn't need to charge you $300, $400, $500 for a freaking course. Um, because I know for a fact that I can use the magic to better myself, and I do. But at the same time, if I want you to better yourself, I have to make it so that you can get started. You know what I mean? And $30, I've seen two people spend $30 at McDonald's. So honestly, if you think about it, you give up eating out twice, even if you don't have a second person. Most people spend more than $30 on fast food in a week. So um, $30 is very achievable, even if it's something you have to save up a little bit, maybe $5 a week for a month. It's very achievable, and it's something that can really snowball your life's progression. So I've always been super committed to that, maintaining a reasonable pricing, and the pricing's there mainly to keep the lights on. I'm not getting rich here, people. Uh, I wish. Um, but that goal of 50 is literally set there so that we can not only continue to do what we are doing, but we're wanting to do more for the whole community. Um, and that supporter goal's there for that reason. Because if we hit that goal, we did the math, we crunched the numbers, that goal alone literally takes the chains off our ankles and our wrists, and we are good to go to rock and roll. And then from there, we just keep growing, keep doing better and better, and Working Dragon Mystic keeps growing. And that means we can offer more and more content for you all to self-mastery and self-empowerment. And that would be amazing in my mind. Because honestly, I have to be able to keep the Working Dragon Mystic has to keep its own lights on. There's too much time and effort dumped into this for me to dump that time and effort and start losing money on it. That's something I can't do to my personal family. I got to look after them too, and it's a hard one for me because I do so enjoy what I do here. It's hard for me to believe. I never thought I would actually enjoy teaching, much less being online and talking in public. I never thought I'd enjoy that. So yeah, those are the reason the goals are there. As to when it is, the 12 to 8 hour stream, we don't know when it is because we have to hit that 50 goals, that 50 supporter goal over at locals first. So I just saw that. My apologies there. Let's see. Have you ever worked with Maimon and Malthus? Yes, I have. It has been a while though. It really has. See, that's the problem with me. Well, I work with so many entities and have worked with so many entities over the years. And part of me almost like feels bad when I say yes sometimes, because it's like, what do you mean by work with? Do you mean have I contacted them? Have I done a working with them? Have I spent time with them? Most of the time, that answer is almost always yes, because I have reached out and said hi and worked with most entities that are in some grimoire somewhere at one point in my life. So for me, I kind of raise it up. Have I worked with them more than once? Have I more than reached out? Both of those I've worked with on my own and with clients, but it's been a really long time, I think. But they're definitely not what I would say are in my daily, weekly, or monthly rotation. In fact, the second of those, I don't think I've spoken to in a couple of years. So it's a tricky one when you all ask, have I worked with this one? Because to me, technically, I've worked with them. I have reached out. I have talked to them. I've spent some time with them. But I may not be the best authority on them because they could be that entity I met, Like there's a point in my childhood where I met Hank Williams Jr. I didn't know who he was at the time. My dad did. He was gushing. But do that. So if I'm asked, do I know Hank Jr.? Do I? not really. I met him, if that makes sense. Let's see. And we thank you every day for sharing the way you do. Thank you, GK. I try to get up here and be authentic. Sometimes I wonder, it's like, do I overshare? And not of content, just private stuff, my life, what's going on. Like the behind the scenes of the financials of Working Dragon Mystic, y'all probably don't give a rat's rump. Maybe you do, I don't know. But I've always felt that's the honesty. I think it's important you all know why I set the goals I set for the channel. Let's see. Jason Eston, what does supporting consist of? Okay, Jason, that's a fair question. So, if you go to workingdragonmystic.com, you'll see Working Dragon Mystic Layer community. Click there. Become a paid supporter. It's $10. Technically, if that's all you want to do, that's fine and dandy. With that, you get a monthly spell working that is done, and you, with some requests, you can do. There's certain limitations on the request, but every month, like I think I've already posted it for November so that the supporters can read it, and if they have any, if you have no specific request, you're guaranteed prosperity magic, well-being magic, empowerment magic, good fortune magic. Those kinds of things are just naturally done on a larger working for all supporters. It's something I do monthly for them straight off the bat, absolutely free. And usually if you were to, like, say, do a consult with me for a spell working and everything, it's going to cost you $50. So that's a hell of a deal. And you can make some certain requests. There's a list of what you can request custom spell workings on over there. You also can you get early access to any of the online courses when they come out. Let's see, what else is there? Supporters do get priority to questions and answers and emails and stuff like that. Now, when I say priority, that doesn't mean like spam me 20 things a day, because I do have other things to do. But that, like when I go into the office in the morning and I open my email, I will look through anything that's coming from the supporters first and then move on. Of course, there's supporter-only video content that's released over there as well. Supporters also get access to supporter-only live streams they have been on Wednesdays. I'm thinking about moving them to the Fridays that I don't do the workshops. That way, more people's hopefully not at work, is kind of my thinking there. So we'd have supporter-only live streams every other week, and then we'd have the supporter-only live workshops that are specifically focused on teaching some form of magic or techniques of some form every other Friday also. So that's a lot of content and a lot of bonuses for $10 a month. And that's just what we have now at this point in time. We are hoping to add more to it, Jason. So there's that. That was a good question. And I hope I articulated that well. Because like I said, it's been a long weekend. I'm tired. I was up late. But I'm trying to remember every little perk. That's pretty much a summary of it, though. Violet Star, it's really nice what you do, keeping it fair and really neat. Thank you. I do my best. I'm not a greedy man. I'm not. And I do believe, to me, maybe it's just how I was raised. But I think keeping it a fair price I think it's just a better deal, better way to do it. Why is my watch making noises? Stop making noises. Let's see. Yeah, I value the honesty. It makes it more personal. Okay, already read that one. Why am I reading that one? What was Dragon of the West? I literally just went over those. I think this you probably posted this before I went over those, maybe. Um, Brennan, what is the best demon for money and hard times? Honestly, I'm not going to lie. When it comes to financial matters anymore, I go straight to X Boonwell, who's a dragon, not a demon. And there's a video on this channel about X Boonwell. X Boonwell is an amazing dragon to work with when it comes to wealth, prosperity, and getting through hard times. In fact, I know a lot of people right now are working with him because of the state of the world, the economy, and all that crap. We avoid politics and stuff like that on here, but and that's probably something else that I can say. The supporter live streams allow us to go into certain topics that are a little on YouTube. You got to be careful. Over there, we don't have to be careful. But I really find X Boonwell to be hands down the entity I reach out to anymore. Period. Um, and so much so, like I'm trying to think, who did I used to go to before X Boonwell? And I'm actually genuinely having problem thinking about that. Huh. Crap. My apologies. Outside X Boonwell, I am currently my brain is rusted shut and I don't have WD-40 and a hammer. My apologies. But there is a video on X Boonwell if you care to check that one out after the stream. Let's see. I am tired because of fun. Okay, let me just point that out. So, well, not just fun, also food. Because yesterday was my wife's birthday. Many of you know that I've been doing carnivore. However, for her birthday, she requested homemade biscuits and gravy. So we did have biscuits and gravy. And I'll be honest with you, carbs at this point, well, me and carbs have had a bad relationship for many years, but I have found that anytime I eat carbs, my energy levels plummet. Um, so I am a little bit laggy because of that. Don't regret it because homemade biscuits and gravy are amazing. But that's what she requested, I was like, sure, we can do that. So there's that. And the fact that also happened on the exact same night that I do get together with friends, and I'm a nerd, people, so I do play D&D. I don't talk about it on the channel because I don't usually like to overlap it and get it confuddled because this is a real Magic channel, not a fiction Magic channel. But we were up late laughing, having a good time at that. And then, of course, I got to get to bed, get up, do the Sunday stuff, and then come in here and work. And then, yeah. So those are the reasons. But it was definitely a lot of fun. Don't regret it at all. Let's see. Vicky, Drake, I think you missed my question. Can you keep working with dragons after death as spirit, and can souls do magic? Just as a random thought. Yes, you can continue to work with them after death, even after ascent for that matter. And yeah, souls can do magic. Spirits can do magic. There's nothing really stopping them. Let's see. Said the red cat. Question: I had an all-knowing to open the chthonic gate on All Hallows, despite not having enough experience. It overrode my intuition and just felt right. Signs unfolded daily. I am usually careful. That's not a question, that's a statement, Red Cap. What would the question be? um, Let's see. Anthony, my business has boomed thanks to X Moonwell. Awesome, mate. That is great to hear. That is awesome to hear. As to what could have caused it, there is like a gazillion things. It could have been a curiosity of your own. It could have been a self-manifestation of your own. There's too many things to know exactly what caused it directly. However, that being said, I'm kind of the person, like if anything feels it's overriding my will or my own thought process, I don't do it out of spite. That's my general thing. And yeah, that can have repercussions, even if everything went fine during it, or there will be repercussions, unfortunately. Let's see. Can I spell the dragon's name for you? Yeah, it's literally X little apostrophe Kachik thing, Boon, another apostrophe Well, I think is how he spells it. If you can't type in, go to the after stream, go to the video list, just go, where my videos are, and there's a search thing, type prosperity dragon, it should pop up. Because dragons spell their names weird. Like, I will, so little inside to me getting all this information and pinning it down and putting it in journals and getting it, especially getting it ready for like the courses. Like when you're sitting here talking to the dragon, like when I was initially talking to a lot of these dragons, my focus was on just learning to say their name. You all know I got a southern twang, so I'm trying to pronounce the name. Okay, that's it. And then it comes to writing it down. At first, I go to write it down, and I'm writing what I think I'm hearing, and they're like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. And I'm like, all right, fine. How do I spell it? And they'd have me spell it, and I'm looking at it like, that's not what you're saying. And there's times I wish I had recorded these conversations, because this had to be some of the funniest conversations, to watch me arguing about spelling to a dragon and then have a dragon argue English with me, because he's like, have you seen how you all spell things? He's like, you got words that use the same letters and are not pronounced the same. And I'm like, fair point. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Jason, what is Rumble? Rumble is another social media app where you can upload videos and stuff. We do actually have a Rumble. I keep forgetting we have a Rumble. Like, I've been starting to upload some older content. I'm trying to get some of the newer content over there. We're trying it out, seeing if there's an audience over there, which we are getting some traction over there. And they're not really restricting us on what kind of content we can. If you're on Rumble, consider giving us a follow over there. We'd love to have you. But it's another social media platform similar to YouTube. I think it would be what I'd compare it to. It feels like YouTube when I'm over there to me. It's just their major focus is definitely on free speech, which is kind of why I'm looking at them as a backup platform, because there's been a lot of, I'm going to call it rumors and conjectures and panic. You all know when it comes to everybody panicking about YouTube's deleting these channels, YouTube's doing this, YouTube's doing that. I don't really try to get into that, because by and large, YouTube's a free platform. They give me a platform to share information with you all. They aren't charging me to host videos on their servers. Those servers cost them money. See, people seem to forget that. And I know they're a business and they're making money. But so when I got on YouTube, I agreed to certain rules, and I will follow those rules. But at the same time, though, I'm not going to jump in with the panic just for panic because, I try to remain a rational human being. I do think it's reasonable to have a plan B just in case it does go like apocalyptic, like some of the um, panic speakers are talking. I don't think it's going to get that bad. I don't. But just in case, it's nice to have a plan B. Um, Now, I can say the monetization shifts have been happening and have affected us to some levels. It's not like we've been demonetized, but um, you know, I got to think ahead because of the goals of Working Dragon Mystic. So that's why we're looking at Rumble. And so far, I have to say I'm kind of liking it. I know a lot of people's told me, you should do TikTok. I'm not doing TikTok. I can't do TikTok. I apologize. I just can't do the short form videos like YouTube Shorts. If you all saw me trying to shoot a YouTube short, um, it's impossible for me to say things in under a minute. It really is. And TikTok, I don't know. Me and that app have fought. So, let's see. Let's see. So I hope that answers your question there. Let's see. What do you mean for or toward? Like if you're doing a rite for a group of people, like if I'm doing a rite for, say, all Southerners, I'm trying to bless all Southerners. How would that differ? The difference is the target of the ritual. It's the same ritual. You're just going to be raising the same energy, and instead of targeting Bob, you target whatever group or structure. You just have to be able to define that group and structure. Otherwise, it doesn't really differ that much. Let's see. Can a human spirit become a dragon? Very out of pocket, but I was wondering if there's a possibility. My co-mag said no. Just no, humans cannot become dragons. No, it doesn't work that way. I know there's a lot of few internet sources that I've been seeing that try to sell this. I've even seen people try to sell rituals for 500. Actually, one of them was even $2,000 for transmuting one's soul to dragon. The dragons are very adamant that is not a possibility. It's not. Even the highest honor and blessing that they can bestow upon a human would not transmute you into a dragon. You can shapeshift, but that doesn't change what you are. That just changes the shape. And there is a drastic difference in a human soul and a dragon soul. And you just can't. That would be the simple answer for it, Vicky. As we get into if you're taking the Dragon Magic courses, Vicky, it's 103 or 104. You're going to get into more of that soul work and why that's not possible. Christine Lindbergh. I don't act on impulse anymore. Impulse can get a person in trouble. It really can. I lived from experience on that one. Yeah. Hey, good to see you, mate. Mugs up. Been a while. Okay. Everyone has a great night. You too, agree? Have a good one. We jumped. Why'd we jump? Oh, thanks for sharing the rumble there, Jade. Hey, Maria, good to see you. As Boone, good to work with. I've enjoyed working with Boone. So one of the things that we'll put up is when it comes to the Goetic spirits, I've worked with every one of them. I've enjoyed working with every one of them. I've actually considered repath working with all of them again. I don't know if I will or not. But I'm kind of sort of already doing that with the Goetic series because I literally reach out and connect with them and talk with them as I make the videos. Which reminds me, by the way, We have a Goetic video coming out Tuesday. I apologize for the massive delay because I was trying to do them every 3 weeks, and I don't know what happened. I don't know how that one slipped through the cracks. I'm embarrassed. So I'm actually going to try and do 2 or 3, not back to back. I'm going to put things in between them because I think that'd be a little redonkulous. And I know a lot of people's been waiting on those Goetic videos, so I do apologize for the delay. I am going to try and make that up to you. But yeah, I think I have. Do I have Boone already done? I think I might have a video on Boone already done. Let's see. She explained that the human spirit doesn't have enough essence, whatever that means, to become a dragon, and that it would have to be born as a dragon. I had no idea what any of that meant. That's actually the easiest way to explain it. It really is. That's a fair way to explain it without getting into the complications that I don't even know if I could articulate if I had an hour. It would, in fact, I mean, Jade can probably back me on this because there's been times like within the admin area of Working Dragon Mystic, we've discussed some of these things, and like we've discussed souls and everything for 3 hours attempting to articulate something as simple as what they're referring to as essence. And I don't know if we fully articulate it. It's a hard one. It's a huge one. It really is. That's probably the fairest way your co could actually do that. Oh, let's see, Karma. Drake, I want to ask you, how do you make spells work? Because right now I'm doing it one way, and my co-mag says to do it another way. I'm curious about your take. I'm trying to. What do you mean? How do I make them work? I mean, are you saying my process? I mean, I'm trying to follow it. Because honestly, I do spell work somewhat differently depending on my approach to it. And it just really entirely depends on what I'm doing, how I approach it. I don't have like one singular method for spell work, so that's a little tricky. Many of you know I love doing like the prosperity spell, for example, where the long-term prosperity spell where I use a candle. I really enjoy that one. There's also ones where I gather energy that focuses onto a intent, an ideal, or goal that maybe I've created a sigil for or something, where I literally use the sigil to help gather the energy for the concept and ideal and then release it into the multiverse to actually draw and manifest that ideal in my life. I mean, as a whole, all spell work is literally gathering energy, gathering intent, gathering it with your will, pushing it toward that goal of manifestation, whatever that may be. But then once it's gathered, once it's in that, once it has all been aligned with that intent, that manifestation, whatever that goal may be, you have to let it go. You got to let it go. You can't hang on to it at all. Which for that, check out my video about letting energy go, because if you don't release it, it can't go out there and manifest. It can't do it. So there's that. And that's actually one of the hardest things when we're doing spell working is letting it go. That's why people will tell you the worst time to do magic is when you're desperate. And the reason for that is when you're desperate, when you're in a hard time, when you're having trouble, it's hard not to think about the thing you need. But if you're thinking about it constantly, you're not releasing the energy. So you're kind of doing a tug of war with something you're trying to release. And it's like putting a baseball on a bungee cord if you don't fully let it go. And it's hard. And I won't lie, I spend a lot of time thinking of ways to teach my students to articulate and methodologies for teaching the ability to let go. And it's hard. It is, especially for a guy like me. Like if I get an ideal, if I have a thought, I have to take care of it then and there because I won't be able to go to bed until I take a look at it. My wife laughs at me, but that's who I am, which really made spell working and magic very, very, very hard for me. Um, especially if you're like me and you don't do anything on faith. Because a lot of people's just like they release it. You gotta have faith it's gonna work. Problem. Got a problem here. So for me, it was I had to constantly do spell workings with things that they mattered, but they weren't things that I thought about all the time early on in order to get that string of manifestations. So I went from hoping to knowing, and that's really where it kind of shifted over for me. But yeah, you gotta let it go. If you don't let it go, you're going to ground yourself out, which sucks. Um, let's see. That's exactly what she said. It makes me kind of proud that I was able to unbiasedly listen with my arcane senses and prove they are working because I want to be prove they are working because I want to be a dragon. Rules are rules. Yeah, rules are rules. I mean, they're not going to change the rules for us. Which is actually kind of lucky. Let's be honest. If you look at humanity, the last beings in the multiverse that anyone should make exceptions for to make things easier for is us. Because we're not capable of handling our own shit. So we don't need to be mucking up anyone else's pools. Seriously. Let's see. So I'm considering communicating with a demon on Halloween via Ouija board that I will make with paper. This will be my first time using a Ouija board. Any advice? My advice is I wouldn't use it. Honestly, I don't like Ouija boards, and it's not because I think they're evil or dangerous. I really don't trust them, as in I don't think they work. And I know everyone on here who loves Ouija boards is going to start screaming with, well, I've done this. I've done this. Have you seen this person? They've done this. Okay, here's the deal. I have literally offered $30,000 to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is a demon controlling that Ouija board. And every person who's attempted to prove this to me, I have debunked them. And at the moment you remove the conscious mind from the Ouija board stops working. And that's because you also interfere with the ideomotor response. The ideomotor response is a perfectly scientific, documented muscle reaction within the human being. And it's what pendulums function off of. It's what dowsing rods function off of. It's what the Ouija board functions off of. The Ouija board's a game. It was designed by Milton Bradley. And it's that ideomotor response that it's functioning with. Can the Ouija board be used as a divination device and get some accurate results? Yes. But when it comes to are you truly communicating with an entity and is the entity moving the planchette? That's the part I have been able to debunk every single time. And I actually still have the money in my bank account. If anyone wants to attempt that again, because I have a very, very, very specific setup that removes you from the process. You're still there. Your hands are on it. I'm not saying the little thing has to start moving on its own. No. I have an entirely different process. But it is one of those things. I would honestly go with a hailing rite, meditation, contact evocation. Any of these would be considerably better. But if you want to use the Ouija board, there's no danger in it. Like I said, it's a game. It's a board. It's a piece of paper. There's no difference in a Ouija board and a sigil. There really isn't. The only difference is, I mean, if you created a sigil for every alphabet, I mean, that's all you're going to do. So as far as the horror stories and ooga booga, you're not going to hear those from me. But if you're dead set on actually reaching out to an entity, you can try it. Give it a try. Take it with a grain of salt, though, because like I said, that ideomotor response for me, I can't trust any result that comes from an ideomotor response. That's just me. Let's see. I find it really encouraging when your explanation aligns with hers because I genuinely can't get this information anywhere, but somehow I do. It's kind of proving stuff to me slowly. I'm still skeptical. Vicky, I get it. I get it. You're talking to a guy who spent an entire year to disprove magic. I dedicated myself 100% to cold calculations. Okay. When I started magic, that's why I got into it. I dedicated a full year cold calculations with very, very specific things I could track. And at the end of that year, I was going to be able to say, see, bupkis, and walk away. That was going to be the end of it. The problem was at the end of that year, my hypothesis didn't turn out the way I thought it did. In fact, I ended up proving there's something to this. When I do this, there's this result. Now, does that mean at the end of that year, I understood everything and I knew what was happening? No, what I did find out is I do this thing, this result happens. There is a cause and effect happening here. Just like, if I brew coffee, I end up with coffee. There's a cause and effect. And that spurred me forward. And you all will notice, much like the Ouija board, I'm still very skeptical in a lot of claims that a lot of people make. And I go into situations skeptical first. I will try to debunk the hell out of it. I don't care what it is. You tell me there's a ghost in the house, I'll try to debunk it. You tell me that you experienced this, I will try to debunk it. I am a skeptic first. I ask questions. I want reasonings. If it's your personal belief, if it's your personal faith, state that. But don't state it as fact to the rest of the world. Because if it's your personal belief, it's your personal faith, I don't care if you pray to the flying spaghetti monster. That's personal. But there's a difference in personal and fact. Kind of get that? So that I've always came at it skeptical, Vicky. I always have. And I still do. And it baffles me as much as it does so many people because like people come to me and they're, oh, Drake, you're going to totally be the guy. You're going to listen. You're going to believe me 100%. I don't even have to explain it. I'm going to ask questions because I got to where I am by being skeptical and requiring results. I didn't get to where I was by just believing something's going to happen. And I truly, truly, truly believe that requirement of results and that skeptical side is what's helped me get where I'm at and cut through so much of the bullshit. Let's be honest. If more people were skeptical, the toxic, harmful, spiritual healers, the ones that tried to kill me 6 times when I was still religious, they would do less harm because people would be more skeptical. And people would do the research and people would think it through before they just took somebody's word and did something that probably not a good idea. Anyways, that's my rant. My apologies. Let's see. Absolutely shouldn't look at us. And they absolutely shouldn't look at us. I mean, hell no. How did I say calculations? I don't know. At least I could be amusing. Right? At least and there's my clocks. Scorpio child. Let's see. Scorpio child. Great advice. Thank you. That makes sense. I'm glad it does. I'm glad. See, everybody's like telling me if I do they're telling me all the changes I could do and the fancy things I could do to my video editing and everything that would help my channel grow. I'd reach more people. Or if I change the way I present my information, it'd be palatable to more people. I don't want palatable to more people. I want the people who are wanting to listen to authentic Drake and listen to what I have to say and think about it. I don't want sheep. I don't. I want people who are going to use their heads. I want people who's going to think. I want people who's going to apply themselves. That's why self-mastery, self-empowerment are so important on this channel. You'll notice it's self-empowerment, self-mastery. It's not Drake mastery. It's not Drake empowerment. It's self. I want to focus on self. And for that, there is that skepticism. That is that critical thinking. And that's, again, where the focus on results comes from, because I've said it 1,000 times on this channel, and I'll say it 1,000 more, assuming I live long enough. If your practice, if your method is yielding the results you are after, it doesn't matter if I disagree with you or not. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're trying to strive to new results, or you're trying to find different information or viewpoints to add to your plan, or you're trying to, what you're doing isn't getting results and you're trying to find something that would, hey, come on over, give a listen. Maybe we got something to talk about. Or if you just want to listen to a southern redneck mage rant, come on over. I do a lot of ranting. All right, everybody. Real quick, we'll take this last one, then I got it going. Jay's already thrown clocks at me. Should you burn a sigil? It's a personal preference. There are a lot of magicians who do burn every sigil. There's a lot of magicians who don't. I'm kind of in the middle. Depends. I will destroy the sigil when I'm done with the working if I don't need it again. If I'm doing a long-term working for the same thing, I'm lazy. I'm going to keep the sigil around. The burning of the sigil is a symbolic releasing of it. And it is symbolic because if you burn it and you destroy it and you release it, but you still dwell on it, guess what? You released it and then you just snapped it right back on your bungee cord. Not going to help at all. Where at the same time, you can honestly take that sigil, put it in your notebook, forget all about it, release the energy, and the energy's still released. So it works both ways. It depends on the magician, depends on the working, depends on your preferences. There is no real right or wrong as long as you're releasing that energy. If that makes sense, Brennan. All right, there we go. Yes, actually, you can, actually, that's a good question, Vicky, because actually a lot of places I go, like, I used to travel. You can't be burning paper in a hotel room usually. So you can destroy it in water if you want. Me, I usually just rip the son of a bitch in a bunch of little pieces. Then I wad it up and toss it. That's usually what I do. I'm not too fancy about it. In fact, during the path workings for the dragons, when I was having to work through, 102 is a good example, because even when recording the path workings, I'm working with all these dragons. So many of you will know there's a lot of dragons in 102. So I had this massive bag of ripped up paper because of me working with so many different sigils. But that's also why when I know I'm doing a path working, when I know I'm going to be working with entities over and over and over, I will also start to collect them and use reusable ones. So that's also something. Reusable ones are handy. Like Jade made me a collection of wooden sigils for some of the dragons. Wonderful gift, and I use those quite a bit. I don't destroy them. I don't burn them. They're just reusable. So, all right, everyone. You all have a fantastic week. Again, remember, we're trying to hit that 50 paid supporters over at the Working Dragon Mystic Lair Locals community. If you would love to support us, head on over there. You can find it at workingdragonmystic.com. You'll see the tab. Click on over there. Pop over. Make sure it's the paid supporter, because you can become a member for free, but it doesn't give you all the supporter content. Supporter is something different. And if we hit that, we will be doing what are they called? Marathon streams? I don't know what the proper fancy internet slang for those are. We're going to call it a marathon stream of some kind. And we will also make sure the supporters who get us there get something as well. I'm going to put some ponderance and kick some ideals around and try to get some ideals from my admin as well. which I want to tip my hat to because they work their butts off and they're volunteers. I don't know how people can volunteer to put up with me, but they do. And you all should honestly give them a big old thanks because of the work they do. Until next time, everyone, take care. Good night.